Hi, I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching the Apothecary Diaries, Season 1, Episode 13. We've been excited for this since we watched the last episode. This is going to be insane. I loved last episode so much.
Last episode, the eunuch and the courtesan was so hard to not just immediately go into watching the next episode. I was about to say you have no idea, but I'm sure if you're watching this video and you like the Apothecary Diaries, you have an idea of how hard it was to not just immediately go watch episode 13, which we are here to watch today. And I am talking really excitedly because I'm excited. I
haven't had any type of chance to reenact what happened last episode since you haven't worn lipstick in like at least a week.
I'm so sorry. I should have thought. I should have thought, you know, I couldn't have been that cool. I have chapstick right here that's colored. But then I think like everyone would immediately turn off this video and stop watching if we reenacted it.
Sweet.
Jinshi and the Emperor?
Mm-hmm. That's an image.
Things I truly want are out of reach.
This is like a backstory almost, right? Whew.
Wait! Can you turn it up a little bit?
Yeah, okay.
What?
Okay, I loved it. I'm going to slightly miss the previous song. Serving in the outer court. Oh, they're so happy for her. Mutually beneficial.
The idea that it's new, though.
Man, I wonder if this was like a core too, you know?
As anyone would.
Sweet. Wow.
I'm sure he's worried about her. He got out with his life, but we know how the superstitions and the rumors work.
No.
なんだい、ずいぶん久しぶりだね。もう子供じゃないんじゃなかったのかい。
まあ、ないし。
また寂しくなるね。
別に、今度はいつでも帰ってこれるからさ。
そうだね。いつでも帰っておいで。
母親はいない。でも、優しい親父とうるさいババア、賑やかな姉ちゃんたちがたくさんいる。
We'll be lonely.
お待たせしました、人士様。
Oh my god.
うちの子をよろしくお願いしますね。つやつやのプルプルに仕上げておいたから。
わかってるだろうね、
わかってるよ、乗客。
Good customers, right?
では行きましょう。
気をつけて。綺麗だな。あんな子、六章館にいたか。
人士様のせいですよ。部屋に注目されました。
それはお前が。
On what?
なんでしょうか。
なんでもない。
I like felt your aura increase.
Can you feel it? Yeah, he doesn't like it. I wonder if we're gonna also have Lee Haku see her or something.
Go back to your usual freckled face.
わかりました。
Oh my gosh. I don't like that.
何やってんだこの人は。それでこちらは？
俺の家だ。
Wait. What?
Wait,
Wait, for real?
てっきり高級へ戻るものだと思っていたのですが。
This is so improper.
そう簡単に戻ることはできません。今度は外邸で働くことになります。
The outer cord.
はい、多くの役所が置かれていますから、後で案内します。
What the
They kind of match, you know?
Serene.
あなたがシャオマンね。
シャオマオ？
Yeah, it was from him. It was from him, 100%.
坊ちゃん、あなたなら大丈夫そうね。
水球で使っていた部屋と同じくらいか。これにかまどと近くに井戸があれば。にしても、住み込みの下女の部屋にしては立派。
You're not. I don't think you're a servant girl.
はい。
俺はお前に下働きをさせる気はないのだが。外邸で働いてもらうと言ったろ。感情試験を受けてもらうぞ。
Oh.
感情試験？
What does this mean? Is her status really gonna change? Cause that
The freckles.
being a lady of the court is different than
Cotton.
a servant.
待遇がいいな。
手伝ってくれる？
はい。他の事情は？
いないわ。何度か新しい子を入れたことはあったんだけど、ま、いろいろあって続かないのよね。
再冤罪でも入れたか。
Yeah.
さすがに見たこともない下着がタンスに入っていたら誰だって嫌よね。しかも糸ではなく髪の毛で縫われていたの。
大変ですね。
さあ坊ちゃん起きてください。
Poor
朝寝
Jinchi.
ですよ。
Look at his sleepy face.
無駄な色気を。ガオジュン様とスイレン様しか入らない理由が
You're in the
よくわ
room.
かる。実に罪深い性質を持つお方で。
Sin-inducing air.
発情期の虫みたいだ。この宦官の匂いを集めて惚れ薬にできるかも。よくわからないが、かまど井戸付きのチャンス。言いたいことははっきり言ってくれないとわからない。では、 井戸が近くにある馬屋でも。
馬屋か。
はい、馬屋です。
馬屋は却下だ。
では参りましょうか。
はい、お願いし
So
ます。
we get to we walk to work now. Maybe? Do we get to be with Lady Gyokyo?
いつも高級に入り浸っているので暇人かと思って。意外と多忙らしい。
ここから
Loitering
東側は武官たちが多くいますので、あまり立ち寄らないでください。
わかりました。配された宮殿は広く、建物の名前と部署は手足の指では足りないほどだ。
Wow.
Wow. We're getting a tour.
興味がないものの物覚えは人並み以下
Learn about things I'm not interested in. Same, Mao Mao.
こちらは都水官。
Director of Waters.
水利事業に関わる官庁。
So if she wants a well.
なるほど。
シャオマオ。官女になれば外邸が職場になるのですよ。
はい。感情ね。
What would she do as a court lady? I have no idea.
あら、シャオマオ。ちょうどよかったわ。炭を執務室に運んでくれない？
はい。
What was Goshen's reaction?
どんだけ位が高いんだ、あの坊ちゃんは。新入りの観察か。嫌な感じだ。
So now we're gonna deal with court
書
ladies.
記官のようなものだ。
Secretaries.
あなた何様のつもりかしら。
餌がいいと育ちもいいんだな。
聞いてるの。どうしてあなたみたいな子が人士様直属なのよ。
I like the back girl.
Yeah.
つまり、あなた方は私に嫉妬しているのですか？
いい加減にしなさいよ。
言葉を間違えたな。あなた方が思う基準はそんな悪食でしょうか。
God, I fucking love Mao Mao.
あるというのに、まあそれならなんてマニアックなことでしょうかね。私にはわかりませんが、そのような特殊趣味なのでしょうか。そうですか、特殊趣味。
そんなわけないじゃない。
そうよ。ならなんであなたが雇われているの？
She seems
I'm so
important.
curious about her.
理由はこれです。この間やけど薬の実験したからぐちょぐちょなんだよな。白麗しき天女のようなお方はお心まで天女なのですよ。私のようなものにも食いぶちを与えてくださるのですから。
I want everybody to leave but her.
She yeah. I'm hoping possible future friend in the court.
お前いつもああいうのに絡まれているのか？
Look at Goshen.
っていうか左手なんて開けて何を？勉強の方はやっているのか？おい。
そう。
シャオマオ。静かにね。こうして試験当日を迎え。
It's like when my mom would open the door and I'd pretend that my DS was I'd like hide it under the pillow.
Why did you fail?
なぜ受かると思う？
マオマオは人士の部屋好き下女となった。
Why did you think I would pass?
ここから先はあなたの立ち入る場所ではないはずです。
白檀の香りと独特の苦味を帯びた匂い。軍部か。
Was she like protecting her? Because we were told not to go near
What
the military stuff.
fuck?
Also, do not like that.
I hate that.
Hate that.
A pipe?
Was that like a bribe? Lihaku.
Okay, that was the Apothecary Diaries, Season 1, Episode 13.
Yes, it was.
New intro, new outro. Thoughts?
I recognized the songs. That was
You always recognize the songs. I'm kind of jealous, kind of not. I love the
listen
song.
to like the anime playlists on Spotify,
Mm.
and none of the art is ever like of the show. I never know what show it's from unless it's like a show that I've already like seen.
Gotcha.
And so that honestly, I have had positive experiences with this happening because I learn to love the song when I hear it, like in the car driving, and then to find out it's attached to one of my favorite shows that I'm currently watching is like extra exciting. It's like like you asked for something and you love it, and then someone gives it to you for your birthday and you're like, oh my god, I actually get this for myself. It'll
take me a minute to get used to because of how much I adored the first opening. I love the outro though too. I love the Apothecary Diaries. And I also love how awesome the sisters, right? The princesses are at the Verdigris house. I love how happy they are for Mao Mao and how it's like not just, oh, pure happiness, here, take everything. Also, bring Ned back. It feels like a siblingship. Yeah. It's so good.
I think that with the outros and intros changing and loving those and having to leave them behind, I think this episode has also made me feel a little bit like, in hindsight, obviously with episode 12, I was really excited by the idea that Jinshi was going to be getting Mao Mao out of, a contract as a courtesan and was going to be returning her to the rear palace. I took that as she's returning to her old job and we're going to be back with Lady Gyokyu. We're going to be back with like getting to know Lishu better, and that is not the case.
No.
And every reasoning of why it's not the case makes sense. Like, obviously, as Goshen said, like, we already fired you from that job. Yeah. It's not like we can hire you back to that job.
But do you think that, like, Gyokyu knows, and if she does know or doesn't know, would she be pissed at Jinshi for not, like, letting Mao Mao back to her, or at least letting them see each other? Yeah.
I'm sure that they'd be able to see each other.
But yet, I mean.
Yeah, but I think what's funny is that Gyokyu, when she gave Mao Mao I think it was the necklace before the garden party, she was like, remember, don't take anything from anyone else, you're mine. And then this idea that then Jinshi gives the hairpin to Gyokyu's like, hey, she's mine. And now she's not Gyokyu's anymore, actually. She's Jinshi's. Like, she lives in Jinshi's house.
Yeah.
First of all.
She has cotton garments that match her previous clothing.
Which was very kind.
She was told about the underwear hair situation that I'm like, yo, some of Jinshi's
previous servant girls and or fans. Man. I feel super bad for Jinshi. I think that this second half of this season is going to be let's feel more and more bad about Jinshi.
Well, it was really interesting at the beginning of the episode, getting like Jinshi's thought process about this, and like how he's just a little bit above normal people and in all these different facets of life, but this is the one gift that he was bestowed, and specifically when he was like, I'm going to utilize it to get what I want. I believe the line was. I'm gonna pull it up though, because we get here and there little pieces of Jinshi's like view of the world, or what his like his beliefs are. And he definitely reaffirms himself. I'll manage his rear palace or whatever else he wants in order to get what I want, so I can choose my own path. Interesting.
Right. It definitely has me questioning and wondering what it is that Jinshi exactly wants. Yeah. And obviously we have the factor of, okay, well, who knows and how much do they know in terms of who Jinshi really, really is? Like, obviously, seems like he's being portrayed as the younger prince, the younger brother to the emperor, even though Mao Mao still doesn't know that.
Yeah.
But as far as actually being the child of the emperor, that also like leads into what exactly does Jinshi want? Because when he had to go into Aoduo's palace after it was empty, when he tried to have one last night drinking with her and then crying on Mao Mao's shoulder about it, like what exactly is it that is the path that Jinshi wants, that he feels like he can achieve as long as he does what the emperor wants?
Yeah. I find that as the series goes on, like at first I was like, Jinshi's okay. I love Mao Mao. I'm obsessed with Mao Mao. I have like every episode I feel like way closer to Jinshi at this point. Like to the point where I'm seeing an outro shot of him sitting on a windowsill with a sword shirtless and I'm like, yo, Jinshi's fucking cool, bro. I fuck with Jinshi.
I definitely really like Jinshi as a character. I do feel more worried about his choice here of accepting Mao Mao as one of his people, you know, within his home and his space. I think that beforehand we talked about the possibility of Mao Mao being suspect for a poisoning plot.
I have something I want to say about that.
If she is one of Jinshi's only people, and Jinshi is either it currently portrayed as the younger brother to the current sitting emperor, the idea that someone could push a thought that he might try to usurp the throne from his brother because there's no current child that has been born, and that maybe he has been the reason all of the other male children of the emperor have died, or
That's interesting for sure. At first, I want to say that, like, it wasn't lost on me that Mao Mao's father was like, can't bring that, they'll think that you're going to be trying to poison someone, right? That's a separate sidebar. What I want to say is that it is starting with, I'm really glad that Mao Mao failed the court lady exam. I love that her infatuation is with one thing, and that because of that one thing, like, she had a line of, like, if I don't love it, then it's going to be harder for me to learn it, right? She stays up at night playing with the fungi that she gets, right?
Instead of, like, when she was supposed to be studying.
She says, like, why did you think I would pass it, right? So,
because you are smart.
Here's what I want to talk about, though. So, before, when feeling like there were, like, potential high stakes and high risk for Mao Mao, it was directly, in my mind, aligned with that job of being a taster. And that's one thing that Mao Mao's fucking fantastic at. So it would be a difficult scenario to write up her potentially fucking up within that regard. I do unfortunately think that because of that, and her job being more of an assistant here, her curiosity could get the better of her in, like how we see it at the end of this episode, potentially trespassing, potentially pushing buttons that don't, exactly, and because of that, and without the job of importance as a taster, I would assume that other people's interpretations of Mao Mao would be as though she's more expendable because she's less of like such a great, like, you know, deducer of poisons and a great apothecary. So I'm worried about Mao Mao. I think I'm more worried now, in a sense, than I was before of the danger that Mao Mao's in a really backwards way.
You would have thought that when we were in the Emperor's Garden, within the actual inner palace, we are now in the outer court. You would have thought that at that time she was more in danger. And she was incredibly expendable as a servant. I mean, we have the idea of Aoduo, not only one of her servants jumped off the wall and drowned, but Fang Ming was the right-hand person. But now we're dealing with highly educated, highly, like, from high-class court ladies and military officers and a lot of very important people who probably do a lot of the business that is running this entire place
Yeah.
for the Emperor and with the Emperor. And I feel like she has become one of the right-hand people, a small group of people, to one of the more important people in this outer space, in this outer palace.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely this is a more dangerous place for her to be. I think that before she could have been, it's like I feel like now if she gets in trouble for something, it's an execution thing if she is thought to have done something wrong, where before she could have just gotten fired.
I am worried not only for that, but for Jinshi.
Yeah.
It wasn't as much on Jinshi before if she did anything.
He would have been the decider before. He's not
he
the
has
decider
to take
anymore.
responsibility at this point. And
he's
that's
not the person that
fucking,
decides her fate
that's
anymore.
That's scary to me. Because it's like, given to us the start of the episode, it's like, okay, how much power does Jinshi really have? We have known him to have so much, right? And so much control. But the first scene of this episode is affirming that, yup, there's of course somebody fucking above him. And
but he's just one of many houses here. Like, yeah, that's exactly true. Is before, like, Mao Mao was incredibly so much safer because, as she said to Jinshi, you're the one that would decide how they kill me. Can you please make it poison?
Yeah.
And he didn't disagree with her there. Like, he was the decider there. That was the domain that he was given by the Emperor, that he was supposed to be, the gardener in the garden?
Yeah.
And now we have Mao Mao walking around this place where she's like, wow, how am I going to remember each of these buildings?
I used up all my fingers
and toes. I used up all my fingers and toes. Like, there's a lot of important people around here, and Jinshi's just one of them.
I despise the dude who was like, Verdigris House, and is just like fucking creepily smirking looking at Mao Mao. I fucking hate him. I don't know why. I like
the one court lady.
I love the tall court lady.
I think she's gonna be a friend.
Immediately, like, on entrance, I'm like, you're different. You're going to have a more important part of this story than the other fucking assholes who are slapping Mao Mao.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting,
right? I think that we already got Goshen kind of reminding Mao Mao, like, hey, I know you're a curious person, just don't go further over there. That's where all the military officers are. And Goshen and Jinshi are very aware of the negatives of men. And also, they're not eunuchs over here.
Mm-hmm.
They are military officers.
Wear your freckles.
Wear your freckles. Jinshi's hiding, her as she gets out of the carriage. We have the other court lady basically being like, don't go past this point. And then right after that, we get a man creepily looking at Mao Mao.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, that is something to worry about.
I'm loving Jinshi's, like, protectiveness. And I also am loving that, like, half step forward to them, like, with them in the carriage being like, well, yeah, of course people are gonna give you attendance because it, like, no. Like, yeah, I'm adoring that.
And she's like, huh? What? Which, like, brings me more to the topic of the obliviousness of such a intelligent person. But as Mao Mao has told us, she's only intelligent when it comes to things she is excited about and likes. We get that firsthand with the failing of the court lady exam. Something else that Mao Mao, we know that she is not good at is having a person close to her that she cares about. We take us back to the conversation with Fang Ming, where Fang Ming's painting this picture of someone that Fang Ming wanted to do everything and anything for, and Mao Mao was like, I don't know what that feels like.
Mao Mao has such, like, a colorblindness to the concept of love. Like, in terms of, like there's no foundation. It's like an immediate, like, aversion to anything that relates to, like, the actual, like, concept of love herself.
I think she also finds it scary but alluring at the same time. Like, think back to the scene where she's on top of the walls. I think it's right after It's right after I think Fuyu ends up married off to the military officer childhood friend. I think that there's a scene of Mao Mao on top of the walls, and she's looking at her pinky, and she looks at her pinky like a few other times. Don't really know the significance of that yet, but she's talking about like the strength of love.
Yeah, I know
And
exactly
what
what you're talking
medicine it would make. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
on
you just pulled it
episode,
up.
what, 3 at
3.
the end. She's on the wall. If love makes a woman beautiful.
Beautiful.
Looks at Pinky. What kind of medicine would it make?
And I feel like this... I feel like I have question marks in terms of what Mao Mao's feelings about love are. Like, obviously, we've seen her watch other people go through horrible things over love. She had interactions with Lady Gyokyu where Lady Gyokyu was like, is it bad of me to feel jealous of Lady Fuyu here? We know that there are courtesans that lost their life or commit suicide over the fact that they were supposed to be like bought by a man and then he retracted.
Yeah.
And then he left them for someone else, or like that love can truly break a person. And
what the fuck is like I feel like I'm missing something. Like the first time I watched the scene, I feel like I was so focused on the emotions and the dialogue that I'm like, why are we looking at the pinky and it coming into focus? Like what's the significance?
This isn't the first time that the pinky has been shown in this way. My only thought on it is Red String of Fate. You know how the red string of fate is like linking two people that are like meant to be in love, and I'm pretty sure it's around their pinky in like imagery, but I honestly could be wrong. But like that's the only thought I have in my head, is that she's looking at it more of like a visual imagery of like a soulmate, like what true love would be, and like would that ever exist for her? Is she truly linked to someone?
Gotcha.
But on that topic of her, I don't know for sure if she has negative feelings toward love because she's seen what it can make people do, or being forced to be with someone that you don't love, how painful that can be. Or is it more so her just having a lack of understanding of what that truly feels like? We know that she knows very little about things that she doesn't really care about. Does she not care about finding it? Or is it something more that she doesn't view she could find for herself? Is it just because it hasn't happened to her yet and she hasn't felt sparks? I'm
like,
unsure exactly what it is.
Like it like trying to describe it to Mao Mao would be like, okay, still shot of your face after you tasted that poison at the garden party. That's exactly how you'd feel about another human being, you know? But I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, what the fuck show have I been watching that I have not been as aware of looking at her hand as you have been? Like, I've been so oblivious to that. I'm like, when did that happen?
It only happened like one other time, and I'm pretty sure it was when she was in the servant area, like in the laundry worker area, and someone came to talk to her. I think it might have been both Jinshi and Goshen, but I could not find you where that scene was, though it probably would help us understand further what the pinky was if we could put both of those scenes next to each other. Maybe I'll try to like look for it after the fact, like before next episode.
It's just like the string of fate is a good idea. That would make sense because of what I assume its significance would mean within cultures that are not my own and themes that I've heard of, like in terms of conjecture, right? But if it wasn't that, like my first thought is like, was there supposed to be a ring there? Was there supposed to be like a freckle, like you like it's in anime specifically, I feel like, or fucking live action. If the camera focuses on something while such an important piece of dialogue is happening and it isn't just of that dialogue being given, it tends to have significance.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I thought her pinky had significance in that first scene that I still can't remember exactly when it was, and so I need to like bring it forward.
Yeah.
But obviously this solidified it for me like more. And so what I wanted to get at, finally I'll get there. Finally I'll get to my point because I'm so bad at getting to my point. Her obliviousness to love and affection and probably even her obliviousness to why people would want to do things, or maybe even her lack of like wanting to know. God, this just makes me think about how she's the character that's like, oh, I'm not, at the beginning when we meet her, she's like, oh, I'm gonna not, I don't want to know things. And Gyokyu's the character that's like, it's a sin to be ignorant. But I find it hard as a viewer to not be like, Mao Mao, have you not questioned once since now arriving at your new job why Jinshi would have bought you to be his, like, one of his only people that lives in his house?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if there was, like, tons of servants here, I don't think there's much questions to ask.
Mm-hmm.
He thought that he couldn't let you keep your job. You wanted to keep your job. He's a nice dude. He's gonna give you a job in his house. Okay.
If you asked Mao Mao, I feel like she would reply with how Goshen first read it. Like, she would be like, oh yeah, I'm one of his toys. I'm like, he gets some fucking weird enjoyment out of me, but like, it wouldn't like dawn on her that it was romantic, I don't think.
I think that if anything other than toy and pawn, I think she'd also be able to understand that there was a sentiment of trust there. True. At least. Like, she feels like he does trust her. And she obviously knows from talking to his one older servant lady, Surin,
mm-hmm.
that hiring servant girls isn't a very common practice that we do in Jinshi's house.
I'm excited for Surin and Mao Mao to get closer together.
Agreed. I think that there's a lot more that Mao Mao is going to be learning about Jinshi. I think that is especially highlighted in episode 12. She brings up how, like, lately he's been looking so childish. And it's like she's really, it was really ramping up over the last couple episodes of her starting to, like, see him for, like, who he really is.
Mm-hmm.
Not the gardener of this rear palace garden, but as, like, Jinshi.
Not as somebody loitering in the rear palace.
Yeah, just, like, not doing a job. Now she realizes he actually had work.
Yeah.
That's so funny to me. She's like, oh, he actually does work? That's crazy.
I love this show. All right, that's all I have you.
I think so.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We hope to see you next time.